Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Jessica Harrington. Tonight on the Now Bakersfield, a new episode of Tori's Trails. We're rafting down the Kern River, but also exploring ways you can help keep the river and surrounding areas clean and safe. And if your child still needs a backpack for the school year, we have the details on when and where you can get one for free. Plus, before we know it, Thanksgiving and Christmas will be here. Why experts say it's important to book your holiday flights now. That's all ahead on the Now Bakersfield. Chris?
Let's check out the lineup here on the Now, and a really interesting story from our investigative team, learning firsthand how so many people are registering their pets as service animals. Too easy, too hard. One woman opens up about how her service dog saved her life. Also, the nasal spray flu vaccine that is back this year, but doctors have a warning we're going to tell you about. And also a look at how people are reacting to Nike's new controversial pick of Colin Kaepernick as the face of a new ad campaign. Some people are praising it, others burning their gear.
Well, tonight on a new episode of Tori's Trails, we're taking you off trail to showcase a conservation adventure that you can be a part of. The Now Bakersfield's Tori Cooper has more details on the community efforts taking place along the Lower Kern.
Welcome to a new episode of Tori's Trails. Today we're on the Kern River, joined by a number of organizations from the Kern County community. Today we're going to be showing the lengths that conservationists are going to just to keep this area safe, fun, and clean for you. Let's go.
The Lower Kern just gets a lot of use, especially after a big weekend like this.
Several times a year, people celebrate along the Kern River. But there's also another group of people like Whitewater Voyage owner Chris Brown, cleaning up what's left behind each year.
What is doing down here?
So we like to go through and try and pick up all the extra trash, get it back to as pristine as we can.
But some of that trash is not as easy to get to as you would think. So as a way to encourage more volunteers and to spread education surrounding conservation, Brown, along with the Kern River Conservancy, the U.S. Forest Service, Kern River Outfitters, and the Kern River Brewery Company, team up regularly for a free cleanup raft ride. And this time I followed them along their trail to see the lengths that locals are willing to go to just to preserve their backyard. Along the way, we were guided by professionals like Brown, instructing us to paddle forward and backward, while making stops at various areas to pick up trash, cover up graffiti, and lug as much away as possible, even the stuff most people don't want to touch.
So this here, as you can see, is all Bakersfield's poop. When they come up and camp, they just leave it all right there. All of that is human feces.
During our route, volunteers and I collected over 3,600 pounds of trash while learning the rules of rafting, including helpful safety tips.
One key tip is always wear a life jacket when you're on the river. Also make sure you check and see what the water levels are when you're out there.
And Brown just hopes that sharing the river like this encourages more people to preserve it.
We just want to make sure that the river actually gets picked up.
Lower Kern area. This is an excellent reminder for community members about why it is so important to pack it in and pack it out and practice leave no trace. Now, if you would like to sign up for one of these cleanup efforts along with a free rafting ride, all you have to do is head to kernriverconservancy.org and sign up there. We will have a link on our website, turnto23.com. And thank you for joining me on another episode of Tori's Trails.
All right, Tori, thanks. Well, Dorothy can finally walk down the yellow brick road again. Her ruby red slippers are back in safe hands after being stolen. The FBI talking about the case today. It says they got the slippers back. Now, if you remember, they were stolen in 2005 from an exhibit in Minnesota. Someone smashed the plexiglass case to get them. Judy Garland wore the slippers in The Wizard of Oz. The man who owned them told Forbes they were used for close-up shots. The government says a bug that exposed private information like Social Security numbers is fixed. The glitch was there for weeks and it exposed up to hundreds of Social Security numbers. The EPA's tech team maintains the site. It says the feature that hides private information was disabled during a system upgrade. That was in early July. CNN reports the site also had birthdays, immigrant ID numbers, addresses, and other contact details. Kids in need of backpacks will get the chance to receive one tomorrow as Victory Outreach Church will be holding its annual backpack giveaway. You're looking at some file video from other backpack giveaways. The church, located on New Horizon Boulevard in Southwest Bakersfield, will be giving away 200 backpacks to kids in kindergarten through high school. Registration starts at 5 p.m. and is required. The event goes from 6:30 to 8 and will also feature free food, live music, face painting, and more. Children must be present to receive a backpack, and it's on a first-come, first-served basis. For more information, just visit our website, turn223.com. Cheese, pepperoni, veggie, thin crust, thick, and deep dish. There's so many options when it comes to making the perfect pizza. Now, we eat a lot of pizza over a lifetime, but just how much? Researchers say the average person eats 731 pizzas in their lifetime. That adds up to about 5,847 slices. The numbers get even more complicated when you break it down by toppings. As for how much money you'll spend on pizza deliveries, $12,600. Chris?
Nike's new Just Do It ad campaign is making a lot of noise. You may have already seen it. National anthem kneeler, football player Colin Kaepernick, the face of it. And it's causing a lot of controversy, as you can imagine. And the Now's Andy Taylor tracking the reaction to this.
Sorry, Nike. I've been buying you for the past 20 plus years. Not anymore.
The hashtag Burn Nike is blowing up all over social media. Sean Clancy posted that video with a tweet that said, "First, the NFL forces me to choose between my favorite sport and my country. I choose my country. Then Nike forces me to choose between my favorite shoes and my country." This guy even went as far as cutting the swoosh off his socks.
Colin Kaepernick choosing not to sit on the bench this time.
This all stems from 2 years ago when the 49ers quarterback Colin Kaepernick refused to stand for the national anthem in protest of the violence against people of color by the police. Although there is plenty of backlash against Kaepernick and now Nike, there are folks speaking up for both the athlete and the athletic company. Steve Marmel tweeted, quote, "If you burn, destroy clothes and shoes instead of bringing them to a veteran charity, don't talk patriotism or honoring vets." Even sports stars like Serena Williams speaking out. She posted a throwback photo of her old Nike ad with the caption, "Especially proud to be a part of the Nike family today." LeBron James even took to Instagram with a repost of the ad saying, "Just do it."
You are burning your sales.
Clearly, there's strong reaction from both sides of the field. But then there's this photo being shared on social media, clearly photoshopped, but it's of Pat Tillman as the face of the Nike ad. Some saying he sacrificed way more than Kaepernick. Tillman was an NFL player before enlisting into the Army after 9/11 and died in Afghanistan from friendly fire. Nike is the leading sponsor of the NFL, which adds to the controversy. So it'll be interesting to see what happens come Thursday night, the first NFL football game of the season. For the Now, I'm Annie Taylor.
Andy, thank you. And next on our lineup, a really interesting story that we have in from our investigative team, learning firsthand how so many people are registering their pets as service animals. Is it too easy to do that? Is it too hard? One woman opens up to us about how her service dog saved her life. You're watching The Now. Well, we start the news feed with, if you're someone who buys insurance through the Affordable Care Act, listen to this. Premiums not expected to rise as much this fall. It's believed policy is going to rise less than 4%. And you compare that to one policy that rose 17% between 2017 and 2018. Another star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame vandalized. This time it was Bill Cosby, someone writing serial rapist on that star. Cosby found guilty in April of sexually assaulting a woman in his home in 2004. Well, the flip phone, it is back. Yeah, it's like 2003 all over again. Samsung going to release a foldable smartphone this year. It's possible that we could see this in November at a Samsung's developers conference. Well, it is no surprise that there has been a surge of people registering their dogs as service animals over the past few years. Some people, they actually do it to save on pet fees, from apartments to planes. So why are we seeing this? Our investigative reporter Jace Larson finding out firsthand that it's not that difficult, but we question, should it be?
I am I'm very open about being bipolar.
Shanna Duffy is someone who medical professionals agree needs Apollo. That's her emotional support dog.
I had a traumatic experience happen.
Shanna says since she was sexually assaulted, there is no question about it. Apollo has helped improve her life.
Okay, I'll be blunt. There was one night I was thinking about killing myself. And the thought popped into my head, who's going to take care of Apollo? What's going to happen to my dog if I do this? And that was enough for me to just stop thinking about it.
An emotional support dog betters a person's well-being. They're not the same as a service dog, which does something physical for its owner, like picking something up off the floor, for example. The law allows emotional support dogs on an airplane for free. In a hotel or apartment, a landlord cannot ban the dog or charge a pet fee. There's no requirement that emotional support dogs be trained.
Speaking of getting someone to sign off, how easy is that? I have a somewhat stressful job, but I'm also a healthy guy with my dog Rocky here. Well, a producer and I decided we were going to see if we could get our pets designated emotional support dogs.
We went where everyone goes nowadays, online. I tried Pet Certify Express. On the front page here, they'll tell you the benefits. You get to keep a pet in a no pets allowed apartment. You can fly with your pet in the cabin of the airplane. Their service, $99. You have to answer a whole bunch of questions, and some of them ask about unpleasant thoughts or urges that I might have had, but other questions seemed like ones any of us could say yes to. They asked if I'd had trouble sleeping, or had I felt uneasy or tense in the last week. One asked if I'd had a life event that caused me some great stress, and named off some examples like a divorce, a breakup. I answered these questions honestly, and within just a few minutes, Rocky was an emotional support dog. We dug a little bit deeper, though. Kathy Castagna Peterson is the supposed licensed professional counselor who approved Rocky. She claimed on this form that she's licensed in Colorado until 2020. But look what we found. Her license in Colorado expired in 2013. I left voicemails for a person with the same name and even called Pet Certify Express, but we never got through to someone with answers. My producer went through the same questioning process with that company and another one, answering the questions honestly. He got 2 emotional support certificates for his dog Potato. His counselors, though, were licensed, but there was no in-person interview, not even a conversation on the phone.
Obviously, it needs to be a conversation.
Shanna says stories like this ruin it for people who really need the help, and it makes her have to battle people who doubt her need.
I have no fear in telling people, hey, I was inpatient in a psych facility and a doctor told me to get a dog.
And Jace, you just look at some of these questions and they're frankly just so easy that I can imagine some people would be frustrated when they see this.
Imagine if you had a legitimate need for your emotional support dog and you knew that people were gaming the system.
Mm-hmm.
It makes other people out there in the public really question whether you need your dog or not, and that's the problem some of these people say.
All right, Jace, thank you.
The death of brick and mortar stores may have been greatly exaggerated. Take Tiffany's, for example. The company is launching a 3-year, $250 million makeover of its flagship Fifth Avenue store in Manhattan. And places like Target, Walmart, and Nordstrom have recently reported stronger than expected sales. The New York Times says the key hasn't been to fight against Amazon, but to learn from it and adapt. Summer is officially not over yet, but now's the time to be thinking about holiday travel. New data shows September may be the best time to find cheap flights for the most popular holiday in the United States, Thanksgiving. Now, overall, regardless of the destination, Google says airfares are likely to go up 75 days before departure, then bump up again a month before you want to leave. In fact, they say if you wait to book your trip until October, you'll likely see a 95% price increase. Some saving tips to consider. Experts recommend flying on Thanksgiving Day and don't fly back the day after Thanksgiving. Instead, extend your trip if possible and return midweek to save. Well, taking a live look outside, we've been watching that sunset and it's been gorgeous. But you know, we've been warming up though, Allison.
I know we have. Summer is still around. We did hit 100 degrees today here in Bakersfield. That is well above seasonal, which is at 93 degrees. And you can expect these hot temperatures to continue for one more day. And then we'll be hanging out in the upper 90s for the rest of the week. But Bakersfield was hot and dry, but we did see some action, some thunderstorms that made their way into Lake Isabella, as well as into areas just north of California City. So they saw some localized flooding as well as strong winds and some potential hail. But as we take a look across the county right now, that storm is weakening. We could see a little bit of rain on the other side of the mountains heading down toward the desert. But again, some strong winds, 13-mile-per-hour gusts here in Bakersfield, nearing 20 in our mountain and desert cities. But unfortunately, that wind not strong enough to help clear out all this pollution that we're seeing here in the valley. We'll have another day of bad air quality, unhealthy for sensitive groups, with an AQI of 122 tomorrow. So like I said, 100 degrees sticking around for one more day and then hanging out in those upper 90s through Saturday. And then a cooling trend starts on Sunday. We have a low pressure system that's going to be digging down. That's going to slowly drop temperatures down to 95 degrees on Tuesday and hitting 92 and 91 on Thursday. But sunny skies for the rest of the work week and into next week. The Now Bakersfield will be right back.
Now, we've heard warnings before about not trying to get too close to wild animals to take pictures, but Vermont wildlife leaders say a moose drowned in Lake Champlain after people crowded around it to take its picture. say the moose felt threatened by all the people, so it went out into the water, ended up getting exhausted, and died. Now, a campaign called Safe Wildlife Distance is trying to keep people from getting too close to wildlife in some national parks. It uses images just like this bear saying, "Don't make it awkward, we barely know each other." Well, the people behind the campaign say since it launched last year, it increased the proportion of people who kept a safe distance from animals by 16% at several different national parks. Well, as Apple gets ready to release yet another iPhone next week, some are expecting a repeat of last year, the first time that we saw a smartphone go for more than $1,000. And the Now's Andy Taylor breaking down what this means for those shopping for a new phone.
Now that $1,000 barrier has been broken, other phones could also be going up in price, but that doesn't necessarily mean you need to shell out big bucks to have a good phone. CNET ranked phones that are still affordable. The Motorola Moto G6 goes for $250. This budget phone has a good camera and charges fast and has a sleek design. Remember Nokia? Well, they're making a comeback. One of the pricier Nokia phones comes in at just under $400, less than half the price of an iPhone 10. And the Nokia 8 makes the list for its 2 rear cameras. The screen is also bright and pretty sharp. And the Asus Zenfone 3 is also pretty affordable. It has a $300 price tag. It's got a sturdy build and has a decent camera too, because cameras are important, Chris.
Yes.
Obviously, when you're picking a phone, though, you've got to weigh what you're actually using it for. Right. So many of us want all these cool gadgets, but it's like, are you really going to use those? So if you really feel like you need that 3D depth sensing camera, paying $1,000 for a phone you're using for 2 years may actually be worth it, but who knows?
I just can't imagine. I mean, it's $1,000 now, and then you just worry one day if it's even going to be more than that, and that'll be the usual.
Yeah, what happened to like the $90 pagers?
I know. You know?
I miss
those days. That's what I used to have back in the day. All right, Annie, thank you. All right, and back to our lineup here. In the nasal spray flu vaccine, that's back this year, but before you think about going that route, there's already a warning about this spray. We're going to fill you in on that next. You're watching The Now. Well, some important stories to know here in the Now news feed, and researchers saying mothers who take fish oil during pregnancy have bigger babies. The medical journal BMJ saying babies had bigger BMIs during their first 6 years of life. It's unclear, though, what the impact is later in life. Toys R Us still having an impact after its closing. Lego saying that its revenue dipped in the first half of this year, and it says it's been hurt by changes in the retail industry like the end of Toys R Us. Well, a little animal may have caused a big crash in Philadelphia. Several cars damaged, one even flipping over, and a witness saying that a squirrel's to blame. One driver saw the animal and swerved out of the way, causing that big crash. All right, well, there's another option to protect you and your family from the flu this season. A big medical group saying, don't make flu mist your first choice. That's the nasal spray version of the vaccine. The CDC put it back on its list of options to protect yourself. Now, it wasn't on the list the last 2 flu seasons. It wasn't as effective. The manufacturer came out with a new formula saying that it did test better and it may be just as effective as the shot. Well, now the American Academy of Pediatrics is saying, go with the shot over the nasal spray. Why? Well, because in the past they thought the flu mist might be more effective in kids, and it just wasn't. The mist is approved for people ages 2 to 49. It can be the backup for those who just can't handle needles. Well, the bottom line here is there is still a chance that you could get the flu with the shot or the spray. Both are tested in labs for their effectiveness, but you just really don't know how well it's going to work until flu season is here. Doctors will tell you, though, that some protection is better than no protection at all. Well, when you join us tomorrow here on The Now, we're going to be getting a first-hand look at just how advanced robots are getting. We're talking to one lab about how this is going to impact our future jobs.
And coming up tonight on 23 ABC News at 11, September is National Recovery Month, and tonight 2 local survivors share their story of their battle with addiction in hopes that others will know they're not alone. Again, that's tonight on 23 ABC News at 11. That and, of course, much more. In the meantime, though, checking out our weather right now. Temperatures still up there.
I know, it was warm today. Actually hot. Bakersfield did hit a high of 100 degrees today, and that could be continuing tomorrow as well. 93 right now, 74 though up in Lake Isabella. They did have some action earlier, some isolated thunderstorms as well as localized flooding. For us here in the valley though, hot and dry, and unfortunately that means another day of bad air quality. We will be unhealthy for sensitive groups, but temperatures, well, triple digits sticking around for one more day and then hanging out in the upper 90s as we head into Thursday and Friday, but we could be nearing those seasonal temperatures by the middle of next week. Yes.
Crossing my fingers for that. Exactly. Looking forward to it. That's going to do it for us on The Now Bakersfield. We'll see you back here tonight for 23 ABC News at 11.